Hey guys, I'm Matt Pittman, the CEO and founder of Meat Church. Today, I'm gonna walk you through all of our various barbecue seasonings, tell you how I came up with them, why I named them what I named them, what I thought they would be used for, and what I see other people using them for today. Our barbecue seasonings are truly small batch craft barbecue seasonings. We are fanatical about the freshness. Why are we different from everybody else? Well, we blend our seasoning and ship out of the same facility. They are effectively made to order. We do not blend our seasonings, ship them off to a 3PL partner where they sit in a warehouse and wait to be picked and pulled and shipped to you guys. Our seasonings are the freshest in the market. If you're ordering from our website or if you're a retail partner putting your order in, they have been in our facility for just a matter of days, not weeks, not months, so they are super fresh. I often get asked, how do you come up with these seasonings? Who names them? How long does it take? Very common question. Well, I'm the guy that actually decides, what are we gonna make? How's it gonna taste? What's it gonna look like? We don't have a product person, I am the product person. And so how long do they take? They usually take a really long time. Our most recent seasoning was something I worked on for over 5 years. It's not something I worked on every day, but it's really important to me to nail the flavor profile and what I want to do. And a great example of that is our Holy Voodoo. It's one of our most popular seasonings, and I worked on that one for over 3 years. I actually had the art and name ready for 2 years before we launched that product. I'm not trying to be all things to all people. We don't want a seasoning for everything. The seasoning flavors are very personal. I want to make sure that they come out exactly how I want, on the proteins that I want them on. And so we'll go through usually 7 to 10 different versions of a seasoning before we decide what it's going to taste like. And then I'm the one that decides, here's the art I want on the bottle. Initially, we thought that the art would kind of dictate what the seasoning is used on. But as I've learned over time, we put a seasoning out, I'll tell you what it's supposed to be for, and people find better uses for it than I do, so that kind of expands over time. Holy cow, our first ever seasoning. Well, when I first started doing barbecue, I didn't know anybody in the space. I didn't really use social media. I live in Texas where barbecue is known to be just salt and pepper. So I made a 16 mesh pepper, big pepper, and salt seasoning. I met Jamie Gear, who owns Jambo Pits, and Jamie encouraged me to put a little garlic in it. So Holy Cow is mostly salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic. And the red color comes from a touch of paprika I added the second year to give it a red color, just a little more desirable. When I developed it, it was about putting it on brisket, beef ribs, and steak. It's just a tried and true Texas beef seasoning, very popular. But over the years, I've learned it's amazing on wild game. It's what I put on all of my venison. I love it in eggs. I started seeing people putting it on poultry, and I kind of freaked out at first. But if you like that black pepper punch, it's actually amazing. I had some turkey made by my buddy Lance down at Style Switch in Austin with a salt and pepper rub. So I started putting Holy Cow on my turkey and absolutely love it. Dia de la Fajita. Very near and dear to my heart as well. This was the birth of our mascot, Mito Bandito. So there's a guy that illustrates sugar skulls or calaveras on pop culture figures. And a long time ago, I asked him if he would illustrate one for me with a bandolera, with some grilling tools, and that's where it came from. Years down the road, he turned into our very popular mascot. But this seasoning is salt, pepper, onion, garlic, and a little bit of citrus. And when I finalized it, I sent it to every Hispanic friend of mine in Texas and said, give me feedback, tweaked it, and got it to where it is. A little bit goes a long way. This is salty, has a lot less salt than other seasonings we have, but you don't need much of it. If you think it's too salty, you just need to apply less of it. Obviously, the main use for this is fajitas, so chicken fajitas, beef fajitas, shrimp fajitas, all great. But where I think it really shines, this is the primary vegetable seasoning in my house. We make cast iron vegetables. Don't tell anybody I eat vegetables, but this is what I season all of our vegetables with, so it's very popular in the Pittman household. Honey hog, very near and dear to my heart. So I got selected to be on the TV show Barbecue Pit Masters in January 2014, and I made 2 seasonings by hand, Holy Cow and Honey Hog. And I was at a little facility buying honey powder, and the gentleman told me that he could make my seasonings, and so that's how Meat Church was accidentally started. I consider this a Southwestern all-purpose with honey powder added for a little natural sweetness. It is definitely our primary pork and poultry rub. Also amazing on fish. I love to put it on salmon. I love to put it on bacon. It is also the most popular seasoning for kids. My son carries a bottle of this in my truck. He puts it on all of his popcorn. So many uses for this. It can be used on just about anything, but if you like a little natural sweetness, this is definitely the seasoning for you. The Gospel. This is our all-purpose rub. I named it the Gospel because it's the truth when it comes to barbecue. Known as the best color in barbecue, it's bright red. I went to a Travis Clark barbecue school, one of my buddies in barbecue, world champion, and he made a comment that he likes a bright red rub in his arsenal. So that's where the color comes from. But this is really the seasoning. If you only ever buy one, this is the one that you buy that you can put on all sorts of things. Pork and poultry is really where it really shines. I love it on pork belly burn-ins. I love it on bacon in general. I love putting it on bologna. This stuff is just amazing straight out of the bottle and is just so versatile. D's Nuts Honey Pecan Rub. Yes, I trademarked that years and years ago. Well, this is a honey rub with pecan in it. It is best on pork, poultry, amazing on salmon. I always put it in the cream cheese in my jalapeno poppers as well. The name, talk about a long time to come up with creative. I couldn't figure out what to call it. Was in my pool with my wife and one of her friends listening to old school hip hop, and we said, D's Nuts. So here it is. Holy Gospel. So this is a top 3 seasoning for Meat Church. I love the art on this bottle. It's a choir singing, and it's got all the various animals. So that's to tell you, it's definitely an all-purpose rub. So there's often a lot of confusion between the Gospel and Holy Gospel. What's the difference? Well, years ago, we decided to do a limited edition seasoning. So I took our Holy Cow and the Gospel and put them together to make Holy Gospel. It's not a 50-50 mix. It took a long time to get the mix right. So one way I describe the difference is I say Holy Gospel is a little more peppery version of the Gospel, so kind of a personal preference thing. So what is it used for? Well, a very popular use of this is on brisket, where people will do mostly Holy Cow and a little bit of Holy Gospel on it. It can be a standalone seasoning. I'm influenced by my friend Grady Spears, a cowboy cook out of Fort Worth, Texas. Grady puts a little bit of sugar on some beef, so on ribeyes and things like that. That was a learning moment for me because there's a little bit of sugar in this. So this is fantastic on steaks. If in your household, if your wife thinks that Holy Cow is too peppery, then I would say go Holy Gospel. This is known to make an amazing ribeye, so really big fan of it in the Pittman household. I appreciate you guys watching part 1 of an overview of all of the Meat Church seasonings. Be sure you guys check out the second part where I cover the rest of our barbecue seasonings.